Tell us a little about yourself, like where you came from, how you got started in lacrosse, that type of thing.
Sure. I am from just outside of Baltimore. I went to UMBC, which is in Baltimore County. I was fortunate enough to learn from two coaches that really that's how I wanted to get into coaching. From there, I moved to Stanford. I was very fortunate to have a wonderful mentor in Michelle Uhlfelder, be on the West Coast for a little bit. I learned from that I wanted to be back home. So it was nice then, Janine Tucker afforded me that option to come back home, and I've learned from one of the best in the game for 5 years. And she's taught me a lot about how to deal with people, how to deal with women. And that's kind of how I found myself here today. I've always wanted to start my own program, and what better place than VCU?
Talk about your experience as a student athlete. I mean, there's a lot of these kids that you'll be working with.
Yeah.
Talk about your experience as a student athlete and how that's kind of molded to who you are today.
Sure. I loved being a student athlete. It was definitely the whole experience. It's the academics, the athletics, the social life. I think that to really do well and love what you're doing, you have to experience the whole school, and I think I did a good job of that at UMBC. I was definitely a homer. I loved everything about UMBC. I still do. I bleed the black and gold, which is why I'm here now.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. So I think that you really have to invest everything you're doing into the school that you're at to get the full experience, and I was fortunate enough to do that and really have a good time while I was there.
You talked a little bit about how you got into coaching. Talk about when did it first kind of come into your mind, like, hey, I might want to do this. How did that happen?
Yeah, when I first got into coaching, I was out in my interview at Stanford, and Michelle asked me, what are your goals in 5 years? And I said, to start my own program. That was definitely something I've always wanted to do, and it had to be the right time and the right spot. There's a lot of new programs opening up in women's lacrosse, but you can't just take anything or jump on anything. And I think this is, there's a lot of investment in women's lacrosse here at VCU, and I thought that why not? Right now, being involved in the A10 and being close to Baltimore, being in such a central location, this is it. And I thought that was the best opportunity for me.
What are maybe some of the unique challenges that you think will come about starting a new program? It's not exactly happening every day.
Right. I think recruiting is, definitely going to be the biggest challenge. Being down here, I think it's an easy sell to student athletes, but you have to get the student athletes down here. So that's definitely something I'm working on right now. And I think that, just really selling this, that it's a big university, but it's a tight-knit athletic department, so you have the best of both worlds. So really just having the student athletes experience that firsthand, I think that's going to be the biggest challenge, but also something that's really easy once you're down here to really get that good feel for it.
Why do you think lacrosse can be successul here?
I think that the athletic department in and of itself is very invested in winning, and from the athletic director on down has that passion for winning, and so they're going to give you all the opportunities you can. It's a great location, number one, to get recruits here. Being a new program with women's lacrosse that has a lot of its own benefits, and I think that just being in the Atlantic 10 really gives us an opportunity to have that automatic bid and play against some really good competition.
I mean, you were recruited here as well to be the head coach.
Yeah.
What kind of excited you walking around here? Maybe some misconceptions that you didn't know about when you got down here and you were like, oh, wow.
Right.
Maybe what were some of the things that appealed to you about VCU?
The first and foremost is the people. Everybody is so friendly down here. It has that southern charm for sure, and it's only about 2.5, 3 hours south of Baltimore. But everybody is so friendly, very supportive. You can tell right off the bat that everybody wants to help you be successful. Walking across campus, going in shops around here, everybody is just super nice, and I think that that's something that sold me right off the bat, and I think that that's something I would like to really expose student athletes to when they come on visits.
Talk about your coaching philosophy. Like what are going to be your main core values, the things you look for in your student athletes?
Yeah, I'm very passionate. I'm very competitive. I think you have to want to win above all else, but it's not the end-all be-all. You have to do it the right way. And I think that develops from, really caring about your student athletes as people first. And once you have that commitment and buy-in from them, they know that you care about them, the sky's the limit, really. And so it's about developing that family and the camaraderie and the chemistry as a group, and then kind of going from there. But I think you've got to be tough. You've got to have fun doing it, though, and I think that that's really important.
You're moving in now
Yes.
into Richmond.
Yes.
What are your first couple steps? I mean, where do you go from here? Let's say day one, whenever you start in the office. Where do you start? I mean, you said you started recruiting.
Recruits.
How do you go from there? Where's your first month or 2 months?
Yeah, right now I've already kind of been, speaking with a bunch of club coaches, some that I've already established relationships with, get to the local high school programs and the local club programs. I'm having dinner with some of the club coaches from around here, which I'm really excited about, and set up visits. I think once you get kids here, that's the easy part. The hard part is actually getting them to come. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And, whether it's hosting clinics, free clinics before field hockey, soccer games, things like that, just expose the area to women's lacrosse, because I don't know if it's that, everybody's as familiar with women's lacrosse down here as maybe, say, Baltimore.
Yeah. Talk about your experience with ball. I mean, you're from Baltimore, you played in Baltimore, you coached in Baltimore. Obviously, that's a hotbed.
Yeah.
Will you be going back there a lot for talent, obviously? Just talk about the relationship you've built in Baltimore.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that there's, a lot of kids I found in Baltimore want to leave Baltimore because they've been there their whole life. They've seen everything that they can see. So they want to get out. And I think that makes it easy. A lot of recruiting tournaments are in Baltimore or the surrounding area, so I will be back to do that. But I also believe in, going out to Texas or Denver or California, finding some hidden talent, because women's lacrosse is growing so much. And I think that there's talent everywhere. You just have to find it.
Talk a little bit about yourself away from lacrosse and coaching. What do you like to get into? What do you like to just do with the family, that type of stuff?
Yeah, it still ultimately revolves around sports for sure. It's watching the Ravens, the Orioles, the Caps, all of that. Love just being around my family, with family dinners. I have a niece that I love hanging out with. It's really just having fun, being active. I think that's important with my job, is to, remain active as much as possible, to try new things. I was just married, so, we have this goal to try, 25 new things this year. So that's, something we want to try this year, whether it's hikes or volunteering or things like that.
Starting your own lacrosse program.
Yeah, that wasn't one of them, but there we go. Check that off the list.